We are not even at peak hurricane season, and we are at a record-breaking 11 named storms by the second week in August. Welcome back, everybody. August 14th, 2025, 25 p.m. And for those of you that follow the National Hurricane Center, as I'm sure you know, the 5 o'clock update gave us Kyle. We were watching this system up by the northeast. It was about 70% chance of cyclone formation as of a few hours ago. And then the newest update shows right here, we now have Tropical Storm Kyle and Josephine at the same time. As we take a look at these two storms, we'll start off with a little bit of positive news, and that is the fact that neither of these storms will likely affect the U.S. Now, Kyle, which we can see now out into the Atlantic Ocean for the most part, already did what it was going to do to the states as a storm system itself before it became a tropical storm. In fact, I don't even think this thing went to tropical depression phase that we noticed. It actually went from a 70% chance of cyclone formation straight to that tropical storm, so it happened quickly, but it is already exiting the U.S. in the northeast. We have more to worry about with Josephine, but current tracks are showing that storm to want to hook out into the Atlantic also, based on the release of pressure in the Bermuda Atlantic. Tropical Tidbits here shows us a better idea of what we're talking about, and we got the low pressure system right down here, which is Josephine, and then we have Kyle right here coming off the United States, the east coast of the U.S. by the Carolinas, and chances are this storm is going to continue heading in that direction and not really affect us. What this storm is going to do, it's already done. Which is actually good news because it did not turn into a tropical storm until after it exited stage right, basically, you can say, with the United States there. So now our next concern would be Josephine. Now, Josephine is expected to kind of hook up above the Lesser Antilles Islands right here and then kind of fizzle out. And as I move the cursor here farther, you'll be able to see that. It kind of just disappears right here. But what I want you to focus on is not only where Kyle goes, where it's kind of going up into this area. Watch what happens after it and watch the pressure also. So we're at 1,011 right here, right as it was being called a possible cyclone. And then as it gets out into the ocean, it jumps to 1,004. Now, we also have another low-pressure system that's kind of mimicking what Kyle's doing right now. So we may see two of these storms take up a name out of the ones we have remaining and kind of just disappear. So what we really need to focus on is not so much these two storms because they're really not going to affect the U.S. too much, in my opinion. What we need to really be focusing on is the fact that we are through 12 named storms in the second week of August. So this is a record-breaking hurricane season. This chart right here can help sum up that bit of information. So we can see here peak season is basically around September 10th. That's when most of our strongest storms have taken place. Some have been before that, some are after, but this is an average chart here. And you can see we're climbing this mountain, guys. We are about right here. So if we cut right across here, we are just now entering peak hurricane season, with the peak being basically the middle of September. Now, with the amount of storms we've already had, we have not had a major hurricane yet, and we are expected to have multiple major hurricanes. So we are going to have a very busy August, September, October, and possibly even November. Don't forget that just because the season ends in November, that does not mean that the season's over. A little bit of detail about each of these storms. With Kyle first, right now we are at 40 mile per hour sustained winds, 1,008 millibars in pressure, and we are moving east-northeast at 17 miles an hour. That's as of the 5 o'clock update. Also at 5 o'clock, they updated Josephine, which is now at 40 miles per hour sustained wind and 1,004 millibars, 16 miles per hour west-northwest. So both of these storms are basically the exact same size except for a little bit of pressure difference, and both are not expected to really affect the U.S., at least not any more than they already have. So we're looking at a radar loop of Josephine right now, still trucking along, still has a very tropical storm shape to it. We can see some of that counterclockwise spin in the lower level clouds there, and then these storms within this giant storm brewing out of the middle. So once again, expected to hook up into the Atlantic and kind of fizzle out. We'll see what happens in the coming hours and the next few days. But here is the beginning edge of the Lesser Antilles Islands. This thing's supposed to hook right above it, hopefully not affecting them too much. And we can see here the radar loop of Kyle hasn't even been put out yet because it really was just named at 5 o'clock about 40 minutes ago. But we could look at some of these charts here, and we could see most of our plots have this thing staying a tropical storm basically through Monday, but it's really going to be out of any sort of landfall, keeping us pretty much safe from this storm. Just a basically a used up letter. Again, Kyle basically did whatever it was going to do as a system that came off the U.S. and kind of affected the Carolinas, and then got stronger as it moved west to east off the coast, and then became a tropical storm after the fact. So we lucked out with Kyle. We do have another low pressure system that's kind of mimicking it that wants to come off. We'll see if that does anything. And also, last but not least, before I let you guys go, I want to show you back here on Tropical Tidbits as we look a little bit into the future. Nothing guaranteed, but just the momentum we have going here is really showing that we're going to see a lot of named storms coming. Probably more than we have already, which is kind of scary. But the west coast of Africa here, you're going to see these low pressure systems come down by the Cape Verde Islands right here, and then follow that warm water belt. So each of these low pressure systems you see is another potential storm. So I'll move forward a little bit. We're here on August 14th current time. This is Josephine and Kyle. But as we move forward, we see Josephine fizzle out. Now just check out all the little L's that pop up here. Each one is a potential hurricane. So we'll check that out. We're moving into the 18th now. There's one there. And we'll keep checking. There's another one. Every one of these low-pressure systems are big systems moving off of the continent of Africa and then into the Atlantic Ocean, and then they make their way towards the U.S. So you can see how everything revolves around this high pressure in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean called the Bermuda Atlantic Bubble, and that's where our weather basically comes from, and that's why we have nor'easters. It's the reason for a lot of things, but sticking to the hurricane weather, I will keep you guys updated as always. And if you thought July and August were busy months, wait until you see September and October. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Everyone be safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.